Like,
Oh shit,
yeah.
right, hold on, hold on. How do I do this?
F10, F10. R2-D2, Optimus Prime, Robbie the Robot. Nah, you aren't cool enough to do that, Terminator.
Ricmotech GT Challenge, broadcasted Mondays live on Apex Racing TV. Visit ExtremeMotorsports99.com for series and schedule details. Broadcast coverage next.
Hello race fans, Peter Mackay here, welcoming you to the Ricmotech GT Challenge here at the beautiful WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca in Monterey, one of the most beautiful parts of the United States. Welcome to the Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics. Joining me in the commentary box is our very own Elite Texan, Austin Knight, and bringing you these wonderful graphics and images is Dennis Branch in the production booth. Austin, we missed you last time at Le Mans, but great to have you back in the box for this race here at Laguna Seca. What are you expecting today?
Well, I'm expecting a absolutely banger of a race. WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca is an absolute classic track. They don't make them like they used to, and like they used to is hard-fought racing. Now, you're going to see a lot of close racing here because it's going to be very hard to actually make an overtake, so smoothness is key, but lap 1 should be side-by-side banger racing, and then attempts for a move, you're going to have to be good through a lot of corners to sequence together a good attempt at an overtake.
Absolutely, this Laguna Seca layout, very, very tricky indeed, and of course, a circuit that's so familiar to many because, I mean, I remember getting started in sim racing, and I used the term loosely, on the original Gran Turismo, and of course, anyone from the Gran Turismo generation will know Laguna Seca well. It was there since the very, very beginning, and yeah, this, of course, has been much more accurately recreated in iRacing, laser scanned, and it's a really tricky layout, but very rewarding indeed. And I think, Austin, lap traffic is going to be an issue. Our GT3 machines 5% down on power than they normally are as well, but making those passes for the faster GTE runners is going to be really tricky, I think.
Yep, the classes have been tuned and tweaked throughout the season, and we got a new BOP for a few of these cars.
So let's take a little look at what happened last time out at Le Mans.
The Ricmotech GT Challenge rolled into beautiful Le Mans for round 3, and it was Justin Corral in that number 115 Aquila Racing Porsche that would lead lap 1 of the first endurance race of the season. Jonathan Corral, also from Aquila Racing, began working his way through the field when he was able to overtake Mike Dam entering the first chicane on Mulsanne Straight on lap 9. A tight three-way battle ensued at the end of lap 10 in GTE between Arthur Chan, Mike Dam, and Jonathan Corral. However, Arthur dove into the pits for an early pit stop strategy, leaving the other two to carry on. GT3 had a tremendous start to their Le Mans race, and by the end of lap 1, it was Elvis Rankin and Cameron Martineau with a commanding lead. Bobby Childs found trouble early as his D2D racing machine got into the back of teammate Chris Thorman in the brake zone near the end of lap 1 and was issued a drive-through penalty. David Payton was holding on to a solid 5th place run at the end of lap 3, but was given a slowdown penalty for slightly cutting that final chicane, sending him back a position. David would again find issues on the same lap when entering the chicane on Mulsanne Straight. The back end steps out, sending him into the gravel and all the way back to P16. GTE class began their pit stops about midway through the race, and on the next lap out, Mike Dam has a near brush with the number 95 as Russ Ruddock loses the rear end on lap 13. On lap 22, Jonathan Corral continues his march back through the field in the Aquila Racing Porsche, overtaking teammate Orion Collins for 5th place. GT3 had some last-minute drama as a couple of drivers found themselves running short on fuel, including the number 38 of Jeff Jacobs in that StreetSurvival.org machine, as he surrenders 8th position to Ford in that number 32 Ricmotech Ferrari on lap 23. By the end for GT3, it was the dominant drive of Cameron Martineau, leading 21 of 22 laps to put him in victory lane at Le Mans, with Caleb Lavender grabbing a strong second place and points leader Elvis Rankin taking third. Back in GTE, Dennis Sevratic in that number 79 is able to take advantage of traffic and make a pass on Mulsanne Straight over race-dominant leader Justin Corral. Dennis would continue his late race momentum and bring that band of others BMW to victory lane. Justin Corral would finish second, with Travis Schwenke grabbing another strong finish in third.
So that was what we had a few weeks ago at the wonderful Le Mans. A very different challenge this week for our drivers at Laguna Seca. Thanks to our sponsors Ricmotech, let's have a little look at the right of way around this wonderful Laguna Seca racetrack.
Welcome, everyone, to Laguna Seca, located here in beautiful Monterey, California. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around this 2.2-mile road course. Opened in 1957, this course has challenged the best over the years and is certainly one of the most recognized courses in the U.S. Well, let's get ready to provide the track guide as we head up the front straightaway here. You'll notice our main grandstands to the right, our pit area to the left, as we get ready to go underneath that bridge at the start stripe finish line. Over the crest here, around turn 1, very slight left-hander. We'll head down into a heavy braking zone. Overtaking opportunities do happen here, coming into this tight left-hander of Andretti hairpin. A double left there. This will take us out and up to turn 3, another very tight right-hander. Very technical section here in this first part of the course. Now we're going to head over to turn 4. This is a very fast exit here as we head up onto the straightaway and get a good run to head down to turn 5. And of course, there are definitely overtaking opportunities here. This very fast left-hander is a little tight on exit here. You can see that dirt is right there waiting on you to slide out into it. We're going to be very careful, especially here coming into the blind entry of the kink, turn 6, and right up the hill of Ray Hall Straight into that world-famous corkscrew. Down through the gears here, we're going to be real careful on entry. Get that car down into second to the left. Track drops out from underneath you, back to the right, and then up into rainy curve of turn 9. Down the hill here, we're going to head to turn 10. Very fast right-hander, a lot of camber here to work with. Get a good fast launch, and then backtrack out right to the final corner here, turn 11, as we get ready for that very tight elbow left, and then back up through the gears as we head down the front straightaway. And there is your quick track guide around this beautiful Laguna Seca Raceway. Thank you for being with us.
So there you are. Thanks to Ricmotech for that guide around the Laguna Seca Raceway. Our drivers just out setting their 15 minutes worth of qualifying times in both classes. But speaking of those both classes, let's have a look at how the championship order is looking. So in the GTE class, well, it's Dennis Sevratic, 3 wins in a row for him in his BMW with 116 points, but not too far behind is Travis Schwenke on 96. Mike Dam, he is currently sitting in third on 90 points. Justin Corral is in fourth on 86, and Orion Collins is on 81 points, but very, very close indeed, as you can see. In GT3, it's the wonder kid Elvis Rankin who leads the standings on 111 points. But not too far behind in second is Caleb John Lavender on 100 points, with David Duino on 88, Cameron Martineau on 86, and Jose Doleo on 78. So all to play for in both classes, and well, usually here at Laguna Seca, we're not short of incidents. It's a very, very tricky circuit, quite a low grip circuit, and usually high track temperatures not helping that grip either. So I think we could see a little bit of a shuffle up of the pack today. Speaking of, look at that time from Mike Dam in GTE, 1 minute 18.933, nearly 0.4 of a second quicker than Dennis Sevratic. That's some good pace there, Austin.
That is beyond good. That is great pace from Mike Dam. 4/10 up from your nearest rival with a few minutes left in qualifying. Now, you can put in a faster time. It's just all about optimization and just finding that flow that this track brings to you. And Mike Dam is certainly benefiting right now.
He certainly is. He's obviously celebrating his new signing. He's been signed for the Orion Racing team. Has Mike Dam, and certainly he's going about it the right way. In GT3, well, Elvis Rankin leads the way with a 1 minute 21.978, and he's 0.6 of a second ahead of the nearest driver, which is Manning. Absolutely extraordinary. Nathan Manning. He's sitting in second with Child 0.9 of a second back, and Jacobs also 0.9 of a second. So it's really, really close further down from Elvis Rankin. But yeah, the wonder kid Elvis Rankin, he is the man to beat right now. So about 10 minutes of qualifying complete, and all of our drivers, as you'll see, they have the track completely to themselves, so they're all in their own session right now, effectively setting their lap times with the whole of the Laguna Seca circuit all to themselves. The man on screen right now, number 32, Kevin Ford, our series organizer, does a wonderful job keeping us all up to date and informed on what is going on, and keeps the show running. If you like, he's the Bernie Eccleston of the Ricmotech series, and even out there running himself in his Ferrari, currently sitting in 7th in class right now, 1.1 seconds from Elvis Rankin.
I've just realized I forgot to hit push to talk this entire time. I wouldn't really call Kevin C. Ford the Bernie Eccleston, because he doesn't have all these crazy ideas that Bernie had, you know, sprinklers on the track, every race should have a shortcut, a bunch of crazy rules, but Kevin, not that crazy.
No, but he does run a good series. That's what they have in common. They do. Of course, every Monday night here, of course, we've had a week off, which has been strange, not having our usual Monday night Ricmotech fix. But it's we have, of course, a number of different series here in the Ricmotech paddock. We have this one here, the GT Challenge series. We have the Classic Sprint series that features 2 classes of Mustang and Miatas, which is always fun, and also the Sports Car series with GT4 and TCR machines. So plenty of racing here in the Ricmotech paddock, and we couldn't do it without the good folks at Ricmotech, who produce wonderful high-performance sim racing equipment. So if you're watching here on Apex Racing TV, welcome, and if you fancy a go at this, I can assure you it's a lot of fun. And if you need some hardware to get started in sim racing, give Ricmotech a call. They'll be delighted to help you out. Also, a big thanks to Texas Proforma Elite Texas Graphics for their support of the series as well.
Yeah, all these companies that support this series going on, they support the broadcast, they support all the server fees, graphics, and other stuff. To make sure that these leagues stay up and running. And let me tell you, this series is one of my favorite to watch, follow, and commentate on. It's just a beautiful series. All of their series going on, it's just beautiful, just absolutely beautiful.
They are indeed. So if you're new to the Ricmotech paddock, have a look at these cars. The cars with green numbers on the side and green mirrors. Those are our GT3 machines, and those with red numbers and red mirrors and also red windshield stripe are also GTE machines. So 2 different classes. The GTE cars, as you can see, quite a bit quicker in lap time, but they look remarkably similar, and particularly the Ferrari. It's impossible to tell the GT3 and the GTE machine apart, but those handy green graphics on those cars and of course are very easy to tell them apart.
And for those wondering which driver we're looking at right now, you can look at the bottom left hand of your screen. That is Daniel Munoz in the 111. And you can look at the timing tower on the left. It will be the little black icon highlighting our driver that we are currently on in our timing tower. So Munoz currently sitting in 14th place right now, and I believe he is the only car out on track with 40 seconds left in qualifying here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca.
Certainly is. So I wonder perhaps if this track temperature is starting to skyrocket a little bit and the drivers just getting, they've set their fastest lap times, and track temperature not too bad for California. 31 degrees centigrade track temperature, not too high from what we're used to seeing, but obviously the drivers feel like they've got their lap times in and they'll be ready to go for this 75-minute race. And Austin will get into it as the race progresses, but we've got some really interesting variety and potential pit strategies, so it's going to be a lot of fun as we get out there today. So let's take a little look then at our grid and how our drivers line up for this Ricmotech GT Challenge race at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. On pole position then is Mike Dam, 1 minute 18.933 ahead of Dennis Savretic, our championship leader. Jen McDonald starts third, a brilliant qualifying from her, with Travis Schwenke in fourth. George Fike is in fifth with Orion Collins in sixth. Justin Corral is 7th with Arthur Chan in 8th, Janja Duanja in 9th, and Rafael Souza 10th. And that is all of our GTE runners for tonight. Austin, how are the GT3 runners looking?
Our GT3 field, Elvis Rankin starting on pole, followed by Cameron Martineau with Nathan Manning in third, followed by Bobby Childs, Jeff Jacobs, Steve Daniel, Kevin Ford, Tyler Giomete, Chris Thorman, and Kevin Hawkinson in 10th, followed by David Payton, Tony Kernan, Losuke Diolio, Daniel Munoz, Russ Ruddick, Derek Holland, and Raymond G. Rodriguez with Scott Brooks.
Up after the corkscrew, we'll deploy single file. Car 1, deploy at +10 to GTE. Single file, pack up and pair up out of the bus or out of the corkscrew.
And a new update to today's broadcast, we are actually piped in directly to the race marshal. So if any craziness happens, we will be able to transmit that audio for y'all, and it will be less of a headache for us trying to figure out what kind of tic-tac-toe shenanigans were going on. And I'm pretty sure especially that was suggested immediately after our Montreal broadcast.
Yeah, well, there's always controversy. So yeah, well, if you hear us go mysteriously quiet, it is because we want to make sure you, the lovely viewer, can hear everything that the race marshal has to say. And hopefully, for the driver's sake, there won't be anyone getting themselves into hot water. But particularly here at Laguna Seca, it's a very narrow circuit, not much room to pass, and for the GT3 runners, that's going to be really tricky with the GTE runners coming through that little bit quicker. So our field are now up behind the Porsche 911 pace car here on iRacing.com. And well, it's a Porsche of Mike Dam, the 911 RSR machine, 4-litre naturally aspirated monster in pole position, number 93, sporting his new Orion Racing livery, a very nice livery indeed, I must say. Now, just a little bit of an update, the BMW and the Ferrari in the GTE class have a 5 kilogram balance of performance addition to try and bring them a little bit closer to the Ford and the Porsche. So we'll see how that adjusts over the race. In GT3, the Audi runners have also been given an extra 5 kilograms of weight to bring them back a little bit to help the Mercedes and the Ferrari. So we'll just need to see how that affects things going forward. But with Mike Dam on pole and Dennis Savretic in second, that's going to make a big effect for sure.
Yeah, all these guys currently just moving on with each other. We're looking at the GT3 field right now. The new start procedures for this race. 2 seconds. would be a longer message from race control, but he just
GTE,
gave...
pack up and pair up, please. Start speed. GTE, pack up and pair up. Start speed. Prepare for the start.
All right, a lot of messages coming in from race control right now, but they just gave the command to start lining up. The start zone for this race is just after the curbing ends on the front
GT3,
straight.
pack up and pair up as well. Start speed now. Pack up and pair up.
All the way to the starting line, and I think we're getting ready to go green very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, the heartbeats are rising, and so are the revs, because we are about to go green, 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 and there's contact already!
Oh dear, that was not so good from the runners at the back, but Mike Dam in the number 93 Porsche, he's got away cleanly, and so has Dennis Abredic for now. Travis Schwenke there on the outside, and Jen McDonald gets up the inside in the Andretti hairpin, and she makes that move stick. Brilliant stuff from Jen McDonald, but it's Mike Dam who gets away cleanly. Let's go back to our GT3s.
And green flags in GT3s, and that car you see in the pit road right there, that was Justin Coral who was involved in that incident right now. A few cars looking down to the inside, just having a much cleaner start as all the GT3s make their way through the Andretti hairpin. Very clean start for these guys.
Yeah, Elvis Rankin, our championship leader, pole position sitter, he's got away cleanly. He's in first place, but and getting a few car lengths up ahead right now, but a much cleaner start from the GT3 runners than our GTE runners as we head down into the... Look at this, the GTE runners already at the corkscrew, down the very fast left-hander of Rainy Curve in towards the end of the lap. Dennis Zavretic, we saw him bide his time last time out at Le Mans and really come on strong in the end of the race to win the race. Wonder if he'll be able to do that this time. But Mike Dam, the Canadian, looking really, really good for driving in his first race for Orion Racing.
Yeah, so the start of that race, it was a jump start. There was a little bit of confusion on when they were going, and it looks kind of like the start IndyCar had at Gateway for the race 1 this weekend.
Yeah, I went through the gateway too early, obviously. So Dennis Zavretic in the 79 BMW just holding station right now, but our GT runners have got through more or less okay. We've got our Sol Ford in there as well. That's Fikey in 4th place right now, as well as they head through to the middle part of the lap. Such a wonderful layout here at Laguna Seca as they head up the hill into that horrible blind entry left-hander. So let's get started at Justin Corral, like you said, Austin, straight in the wall. That's well, as race starts go, that couldn't have really gone much worse.
Yeah, he's got wheel damage, and I think he's just done for today. He's gonna be shaking his fist. He's gonna probably be looking at that replay, being like, "Who had the hot foot that just decided to go in there?" Race control is looking at that, so we'll be looking at their decision, because there's racing incidents, and then there's just somebody getting a little bit too antsy for the start. And if you raced on the iRacing, you've heard this message. Let's keep it easy at the start, guys. Let's make it at least more than one lap. I've seen let's make it at least to one corner before. This was let's try to make it at least past the starting line.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of an issue to contend with for drivers as well. It's you know, it is a simulation here, so you would race just as you would in the real world, or that's how it should work. Long race, Austin, 75 minutes, and especially around here at Laguna, you just want to try and bed yourself in and try and get into a bit of a rhythm. And this is not the circuit where you want to be nursing any kind of damage, because there are so many tricky corners here where you just want to have your car at 100%. You want to have it set up well and be able to run consistent laps, because you know, you look at Dennis Zabretic, our championship leader in GTE, he has not put one foot wrong all season long. Yeah.
Not a lot of mistakes made for Zabretic right now. He's currently sitting in 2nd and is keeping his eyes on Mike Dam as we're looking at this GT3 fight right now for 5th place between Jacobs, Childs, and Ford. And look at Tyler in 7th place. He's on Kevin's gearbox right there.
Absolutely, Tyler Grolamet, a very nice looking machine he's running there. That nice blue blue paint scheme. They're running in behind the Ferrari of Kevin Ford. A big field of Ferraris in the GT3 class. Only a couple of Audis and a couple of Mercedes AMG. It seems like the tides have turned in the GT3 class of late, Austin. I remember just a couple of months ago the Mercedes was very much the car of choice, but seems to have flipped towards the Ferrari in recent times.
Yeah, and I can tell you, you're going to be seeing a lot more Ferraris popping up in iRacing official series because of the new announcement that the Ferrari GT3 Challenge is returning to iRacing.
Car 50 jumping
Well, that's
the start.
very good news indeed.
One lap
I have to
penalty.
say,
Car
I'll
50.
give you-
One lap penalty.
That was the penalty announcement for the start of the race. Car 50, Rafael Sosa, has been giving a penalty stop and go, stop and hold for 1 lap for jumping the start and causing a collision. Rafael Sosa was the one with the very hot foot.
that is a stern penalty as well. A stop and hold. That's yep. That's going to put you back in the order, and of course, only with 10 cars here in the GTE class, it's going to be an interesting one. But that's the thing, Austin, is that if you can keep the car clean and if you can avoid mistakes, often those in front of you can fall by the wayside, especially over these long races. And well, we've seen that in the real world in recent sports car races, and particularly in the IMSA WeatherTech Championship, where both BMW and particularly Porsche have been just as fast on track as Corvette, but Corvette have been the guys that haven't made the mistakes, and they have been handsomely rewarded with a handful of wins so far.
Yeah, you gotta stay clean. This is WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca is just a short trip away from Ensenada, Baja California, where finishing the race and staying safe is the name of the game in Baja racing. And racing here, you gotta stay safe and keep clean from trouble, as Travis Schwenke almost went straight into the back of Arthur Chan in front of him.
Yeah, I tell you what, that BMW M8 looks nice and steady and nice and stable down the corkscrew. A really tricky corner, probably one of the most famous corners anywhere in the world, along with Eau Rouge and Radion. But yeah, that Travis Schwenke making it look easy there. The big bruising front engine BMW. It's got a 4.4 litre, 560 horsepower twin turbo V8. It's a big old brute, that car, but that front engine layout does make it nice and stable indeed. So running strongly right now, and running in 7th, sorry, my apologies, running in 6th right now for Travis Schwenke, with a couple of Porsches right behind him. Speaking of Porsches, Mike Dam starting to pull a little bit of a gap on Dennis Savretic. Jen McDonald in her BMW not too far behind either, but Mike Dam off to a really good start.
Yeah, that Porsche and the way it's built, it's very lively around these slower paced corners compared to the BMW. It is a very nimble car, and Porsche, it's like they designed this car for this track. If there was a perfect car track combo, it would be this car right here. It just comes alive, and nothing else compares to this car at Laguna Seca. Sure, the BOP is going to be helping all the other cars in this track, but it's just, this Porsche comes alive around here. Oh no, Chan, Jianja and Collins, 3-car collision at the very last corner of the lap.
Oh dear, and Arthur Chan getting himself stuck there, reversing across the road.
Look at the back left of that.
Oh, he's crabbing. Oh
back.
dear. That is big suspension damage there for Arthur Chan. So let's have a look and just see what's happened here. So Travis Schwenke goes to the inside, and then, it's a little bit of a domino, isn't it? So Arthur Chan was actually pretty innocent there,
yeah,
but paying the price.
Wajid looked down to the inside, and, well, he just bit off a little bit more than he could chew and caused that massive 3-car collision. I can guarantee you Race Control will be looking at that incident with intrigue, because that was your only fight in the GTE field.
Certainly for now anyway, but in GT3, well, our championship leader, Elvis Rankin, out front, and behind him, a little bit of a battle going on between Martineau and Manning here. Very interesting little battle as, oh, Martineau goes up the inside there on Manning. Good move indeed, and gets it done cleanly, which is important. As you'll see, no surprise that we just saw on the bottom of the screen there, that incident we just witnessed is under investigation, so we should hear from the race marshal shortly what the outcome of that incident will be. Perhaps more penalties to come, Austin.
Exactly, and that is one of the more rare overtakes. When in the driver's briefing, you don't...
Penalty car 118, incident responsibility, drive-through penalty, 118, drive-through.
Car 118 of Orion Collins getting a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, that's a bit of a theme here in the Ricmotech paddock. If you ruin somebody's race, and if you put a move that's deemed to be overly aggressive, you will be punished severely, and that's designed to try and keep the... Oh, flying... Oh, no, that's the Flying Tortoise car. No. No. Oh, dear, it's a bit of a car park in the... Oh, at the corkscrew, and oh, the Flying Tortoise Motorsports car, the Ferrari there, punted off unceremoniously, and I think you might be hearing a little bit more from the race stewards again, Austin.
Yeah, the race steward is going to be very active during this race. We got a car. Well, it looks like Raymond is still part. No, that would be Russ Ruddick, who is stopped in the corkscrew still.
Yeah, that's Russ Ruddick.
Is he
the Flying Tortoise? He might be. Yeah, he might have to take a tow if he can't move. Perhaps he did. It was quite a heavy contact, and we've seen that
he's moving
Ferrari.
right now.
Aha, that's good news then for Russ Ruddick, be able to get going. Of course, you're wondering, that's a strange name for a team, Flying Tortoise. He's running the same colours as the Flying Lizard team, the kind of silver and red. So a good kind of a good play on that one. So as we thought, cars 95 Russ Ruddick, and number 129 that is Raymond Rodriguez under investigation. So maybe a penalty on the way to the 129 of Rodriguez.
Yeah, Collins heading into the pits right now to serve his penalty, and well, we've seen this a few times, but Elvis Rankin is currently up there in the ranks of the GTE field.
Yeah,
penalty
he is an incredible young man.
Incident responsibility.
We got another incident responsibility for car 129. And that is another drive-through penalty. That was Raymond G. Rodriguez.
Yeah,
that is at the corkscrew.
Yeah, so if you're wondering, folks, if you're thinking the penalties are overly harsh, you know what the kind of big consideration will be. If it's just a racing incident where you just get a little rub or what have you, that will be left alone. But when it's something like that, where the other driver is kind of innocently punted off in their race, potentially ruined, then the stewards will come down hard, and that's designed to try and get the field to think about each move that they make out on track. Well, Elvis Rankin, he is up in the lead of class, and as you said, Austin, looking strong overall as well. Now, I want to have a little talk about the fuel strategies for both classes. So the cars, the GT3 cars, are given 88% of their fuel cell, and the GTE machines are given 85% of their fuel cell, and that's effectively to force a little bit more of pit stop strategy. So for the GT3 cars, we're expecting them to pit anywhere between lap 15 all the way to lap 39. For the GTE runners, they're already in their fuel window, lap 7 to lap 49, so a huge length of pit window, and we saw that back at Zolder, Austin, didn't we, with Travis Schwenke having to come in to get damage repaired earlier on, but he was in and able to get filled up with fuel and actually got on the podium in the end.
Yeah, fuel strategy is going to be a big part of it. You can go whenever the fuel window opens, and it's just a matter of how much you run But the reason why that Zolder strategy worked so well is he had the track space to work with that here. But if you look at our track map, there is a very slim window of clean track. So I do not expect a lot of earlier pit stops to be running. And it's just going to be a lot of guys stretching out as long as they go.
Yeah, absolutely. And you almost have to have a little degree of flexibility in your strategy, because if you come across some clear track for a number of laps, you've really got to make the most of it as much as you can, because the difference between driving in clean air on a track like this and a driving with cars around you battling is massive. It can be a couple of seconds per lap, and that can add up very, very quickly indeed. But look at the pace of Mike Dam at the front, 0.8 of a second quicker than Denis Savretic on that last lap, and he's already, but now this could change things. So now Mike Dam coming up already through the GT3 runners, and that speed through traffic is going to be pivotal here between Dam and Savretic. And don't think that Mike Dam is not involved in the championship battle. He's sitting in third in the championship right now, Savretic in the lead. So this is really, really interesting for the whole season battle.
Oh, it does. We got a great battle going on for 6th place. Tyler Giometti looking down to the inside, had a great run through the small kink, but well defended by Tony Kernan. Around the outside in the entrance of the corkscrew, switched directly back into his favor, put Tyler back to his place. And that's just how hard it is to lock down a overtake here at Laguna Seca. You have to line up a few corners. Tyler looking down to the inside once more, not going to happen. And Jacobs behind him, he's looking a little bit more feisty. Very late onto the braking zone there, and almost got to the back of Tyler.
Yeah, Jacobs, you almost feel he's a little bit ganged up on here. Look at all these Ferraris, 1, 2 in front, and then 3 behind him. So he's holding up the honour for Alfterbach for AMG. But look, just in the back of shot there, Mike Dam, the GTE leader, the overall race leader. He's now got to get through this very busy GT3 battle, and that could give Denis Savretic an opportunity to get onto the back of him, but he's enjoying a 5-second advantage right now. But look at this, here's the traffic. Mike Dam gives a big, look at that, look at the respect between the two drivers there from both classes. Plenty of room given, and that is what you need to get through this race cleanly and get a good bag of points and a good result. But Mike Dam here, this is going to be fascinating to watch, how he cuts through this traffic. How patient will he be heading up the Rahal straight into the corkscrew? He might have to come out of it here. He does, not a place where you want to dive up the inside. Oh, so this is really slowing Mike Dam up right now. Will he go through here at Rainy Curve?
Oh no, Savretic's around.
Oh, Savretic.
Well, Savretic just had an incident in the corkscrew right behind us. So that saved Mike Dam, as this is Denis Savretic, and he's in that BMW. And oh no!
Oh dear, dear, dear! I think that the 111 car there of Daniel Ariel Munoz.
He gave way.
Yeah, he was just trying to give way, and he just got that so easy to do when a faster car's coming through. You just get that little bit of distraction, miss your braking point. Ah, what a shame for both drivers. Nothing malicious, but actually Denis Savretic gets in the gravel a little bit. He would have struggled to make the corner actually, and oh dear, 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 not good. So for Mike Dam, if he's got a spotter on his radio, that spotter needs to get on the radio right now and say that Denis Savretic has had a big incident, has dropped nearly 10 seconds further back. So take your time, no need to rush this. And I tell you what, Jen McDonald could be right on the bow. She is right on the back of Denis Savretic now, and her car should be relatively straight. Denis Savretic's car will have a little bit of damage. So this is all lighting up here in the Ricmotech GT Challenge.
Yeah, I did a quick look at Dennis's car. He's got damage on that front left. You can see the front left splitter is a bit kinked up right there, and it's lifted off the ground. That's going to be giving him a bit of a stability issues right there. I don't see any crabbing with that car, but it will be hurting his cornering ability.
It will. That's the thing, is any damage that the drivers will incur. The iRacing.com simulator is incredibly accurate in terms of the reaction it has to performance. So that damage is not cosmetic. That will have an effect to performance, no matter how minor it might be. So what do you think, Austin, for Severedic? He's obviously one of the, well, championship leader, winner of every race so far. But for him, he's now in the pit window. You know, although we're only 20 minutes into this race, he can come in, get that damage repair, and fill up with fuel. So he's maybe just going to, I would suspect, want to run a couple of laps now, see where his pace is, and if he's off the pace at all, he should come in now, get that damage repaired, and fill up with some fuel, do you think?
Absolutely. He's coming up on this GT3 field, and I expect him to come to the pits right now, avoid this traffic, not fight it at all. He's got that damaged car. If you stay out there with an even more damaged car, you're going to be hurting yourself. And he is actually pushing a lot. And he's well, you wouldn't really expect this, but he's actually the fastest car out there on track right now. Last lap, he did a 1:29.2, and Mike Dan did a 1:22.04. But that's because Dennis was not in traffic last lap, and Mike Dan was. They're losing about 2 seconds per lap behind traffic, and Dennis has just met it.
There you go. So Mike Dam now 1:20.2 that time around. What does Severedic do? Ooh, get on 1:21 flat, and now he's right in the middle of traffic. So that gap is just going to yo-yo back and forward. But it'd be really interesting to know. Of course, we won't know how Dennis Severedic is feeling at the wheel of that BMW. It seems like his pace is okay. He's got pace in that car. It might be that he's keeping his powder dry for later in the race, expecting maybe a bit more rough and tumble. Look, Jen McDonald, she's not far behind there. She's in that blue and white BMW M8,
this is daring.
running her best run of the season so far. And oh, you're right. Oh my goodness me, Dennis Severedic shoving it up the inside there, and he is wasting no time getting through this GT3 traffic.
Yeah, he just gained a lot of time on Mike Dam with just that one move. Sure, they went 3 wide through a corner that you rarely see any moves on being made in any single-seater cars, but in a GT car, you can make that move down the inside. But wow, that was a very daring move by Severedic, but still, he is 11 seconds down on Mike Dam. That damage on his car is not going to hurt, is not helping him in any way. The earlier he goes into the pits, the better it will help him, especially in the long run, because you can be damaged right now, but you don't know if Mike Dam will get any damage. So you're going to have to roll the dice. We are near Vegas. It's just a state away. So you might want to go visit that roulette table sometime.
Absolutely. It's plenty of vices to enjoy in this part of the world. Great motor racing, gambling, and I'm sure other things as well. Look at this. This is really holding up Jen McDonald. She's taking much longer here to get through than Severedic, but Severedic had to take a lot of risk through there. Now we've got an incident under review. The incident involving car 194 and car number 34 under investigation right now. So we will keep you up to date once we hear from the race marshal as well. As we've got 17 laps down already. Of course, it's a short lap here at Laguna Seca, and yeah, they're clicking by quickly. So 22 minutes in, plenty time to go, but that's pit strategy just opening up a little bit. So I'm interested to see if anybody, like you said, Austin, who wants to roll the dice, who wants to go on that alternative strategy and try and make it work.
Yeah, it's going to be a big roll the dice and a way off track. Is that Chris Thorman going off track right there? It is Chris Thorman, and looking around the outside. Hello, Chris. What a move. That was actually Jeff Jacobs that went wide, and Chris Thorman swung around the outside in that beautiful Ferrari. But look at that Ford down the inside, poking his nose in there. That Ford being a GTE, and oh, this is smart by Jeff Jacobs, using him as a pick in the Andretti hairpin. But Thorman around the outside once more, stays there, and now Peyton looking down to the inside of Thorman. They're going to go side by side, and ooh, a little bit of touch right there.
Yeah, fierce stuff here, and there's Travis Schwenke just coming through as well in the black and blue BMW. He's just in front of Janja in the Ferrari. Oh, it's very tight indeed coming through here, and this is what we were talking about. Traffic is going to be an issue all day long, and I think you just got to be really patient and expect and understand that all your competitors are going to have this problem with traffic as well. And so easy to get involved in incidents as we saw with Dennis Reddick, and that gap just ever so slightly creeping up. It's now up to nearly 12 seconds between Mike Dam and Dennis Reddick. So is this going to be the race where we see Dennis Reddick's unbeaten run broken?
You know, there's a lot of uncertainty at this early on in the race. If you're just going by pure stats right now, Mike Dam has this race, but I've known to curse people who have been winning races 9 times in a row, and then as soon as I said they have this, they don't win. So I don't want. Oh no! Oh no! 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 Schwenke in an instant.
Got a little bit of a help from one of the GT3 runners there, a little bit of confusion. Oh, there's a lot of action there. So let's get a look at it then. So Travis Schwenke, he's there in the BMW M8, the black and blue machine. There's Jacobs there in the Mercedes. Oh, and a big old tap, and then it's a BMW domino job.
Was that Sosa?
Oh dear, dear, dear. That's not.
I believe news. That was Sosa that was involved there. Because there were 2 BMWs in there. Jennifer McDonald and Dennis, they're still going on. I think that was Rafael Sosa.
It was, who's a lap down after his earlier penalty. That's right, that's just not coming up on the timing tower as it stands right now. So, yeah, that's not good news for Travis Schwenke, one of our championship contenders. He's in 2nd place in the championship right now. So, but he can recover, and he's in the pit window, so if he needs to come in and repair damage, he can fill up and not have to stop again. That's the main thing. So actually, one thing is, Austin, although this race is very attritional, lots of potential danger, lots of potential damage here, as we see, one of the Ferraris off at the back. Because the pit window is so wide, you can pit most of the time in the race. If you take damage, you can come in and not have to take an additional pit stop.
Yeah, if you have damage, knowing when to take it to save yourself is going to be the prime idea. You're going to have that net in the bag. You're going to have your pit crew working on you. You want to build up the gap to the cars behind you, because just driving through the pit lane 40 seconds. You want to see on how far you can build that gap up, especially if your car is just absolutely mint condition. Now, if you have damage, you're going to have to look at your cars. How fast am I going compared to the car behind me? And how fast am I going compared to what I used to be? I would say if it's about a second, within a second of the car behind you, and you're just now, I would say if you're under a second from what you were running, stay out. If you're over a second, pit in.
Good barometer to have, and wow, Mike Dam is just knocking out great pace. He's taking another big chunk of time, nearly 3/4 of a second. Taken out from Dennis Reddick there. He's coming into GT3 traffic. He's giving them plenty room. Round he goes then. I tell you what, this is, we saw a brilliant drive from Mike Dam at Zolder, and no question about it, this is his strongest drive of the season so far. Quite a lot of PB drives going on today. Jen McDonald, no question at all, her best drive of the season so far. And she is currently sitting in the provisional podium position right now in 3rd spot. So not a mark on that BMW M8 so far.
Yeah, Jennifer, she's been doing absolutely fantastic this race. Sitting in the podium position, and I think she's looking a little bit more. We got a slow car going up the straight right now. That looks to be the Audi of Nathan Manning.
Oh, one of our front runners. He was battling with Martineau in the Ferrari. So what has happened to Nathan Manning in the 86 Graphite Racing Audi? Well, oh, dear me, looks like someone's right. So this is without mangled wing here. Down we go up the Rahal straight, and oh, that's such a classic Laguna mistake. Just coming onto the Rahal straight, you want to get on the power, get up the hill. And he just put one of his Pirelli tyres just onto the gravel, and round he went, and he paid the price big time. So for Nathan Manning, he's got to got to get that car into pit lane and get that repaired, because he's got big damage. That'll be making a big effect on his performance.
Now, Kevin Ford just gave that position to Nathan Manning. He was giving way to the Ford of George Feige, and Nathan just snuck his way down in there.
Yeah, interesting one. I wonder, we know Kevin is one of the very safest drivers in the Ricmotech series. Really, really clean, really well mannered, and that's interesting. He might not have initially realised that Nathan had damage. He'll probably now be looking at the back of his mangled Audi and thinking, that's not right. So you never know, we might see that shuffle again, but I'd be very surprised not to see. There you go. Lack of rear downforce, I would say, perhaps, Austin.
Oh, definitely a lack of rear downforce, and well, if you're Kevin, you giveth the position, and then life taketh the positions away.
Yes, and Kevin, he did well actually not to run into the back of Nathan Manning there, but he gets through. So Kevin Ford then up to 4th place. So knocking on the outside chance of a podium here for the number 32 Ferrari of Kevin Ford. If you're a regular viewer to the Kevin is oh dear. Oh, that's unusual. Well, I don't know if we can blame that on a commentator's curse. This is very strange. I wonder if Kevin's maybe had some sort of technical failure. I can imagine that's to do with his PC, not his Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment, I'm sure.
I think his dog might be barking a lot in the background, and he needs to see what's causing that issue. Because I have no idea why that's happened.
Well, we might well find out. I'm sure Kevin...
Penalty car 38, incident responsibility, contact with the 16, drive-through, car 38, drive-through.
So that is the penalty then for car number 38, Jeff Jacobs in the Mercedes, after that incident with number 16, Travis Schwenke, the one we saw down into the Andretti hairpin at turn 1. So there you go. Well, the stewards are certainly busy today, aren't they, Austin? There's been plenty of penalties being handed out.
Yeah, usually when you sign up to be a steward job, you don't really think of doing much. Yeah, sure have a little bit of an incident here and there, but you get to watch the race from an AC room and have a nice cool drink by your side, and you know, you get to watch racing and you get to make decisions on it, but usually it's not this hectic.
Yeah, absolutely, and I have to say a big thank you to our race marshal, race stewards, because it is really a thankless task. You're never going to be anyone's friend when you're a steward, because you only have to give bad news as a race steward. So back at the front, Mike Dam, 12.3 seconds ahead, now up to 13 seconds from Dennis Sevretic. So this is the best chance we've seen for Dennis Sevretic's reign at the top to be upset. And at the front of GT3, Elvis Rankin putting together an excellent drive at the wheel of his Orion Racing #1 Ferrari. Of course, we see Elvis every week in all the different series here in the Ricmotech paddock. We see him in the Miatas, in the Classic Sprint series, and also in the GT4 class in the Sports Car series. So very much a loyal supporter and competitor here in the Ricmotech paddock, and one of the front runners in any car he gets into. As we see my apologies, that's Travis Schwenke just getting through now. He's got the 34 of Collins behind him, and yeah, Travis Schwenke just trying to recover after that little incident at the Andretti hairpin a few laps ago.
It was a very wide entry he took going into it, but it is maximizing his speed going out there. But he's got Jean behind him, and he's in that Porsche, and that Porsche is very fast around here.
It is. I tell you what might be making it go even faster is running the number 34, of course, run by a fellow Texan of yours actually, Austin, Kevin Schwantz, former 500cc motorcycle Grand Prix champion. And I have to say, Kevin Schwantz, one of my absolute favourite, not just motorcycle racers, favourite racers of all time. I love Kevin Schwantz.
Yeah, Kevin's pretty cool. I keep a tabs of all with most of the Texan racers around here, but 34 is an absolutely great number. One of my favorite football players actually use that number 34.
Another cool thing about Kevin Schwantz is in running the number 34, he has a black Labrador called Tank. Tank the black lab is Kevin
Schwenke
Schwantz.
pits.
There you go. So Travis Schwenke now. Is this another classic Travis Schwenke early pit stop? We saw him do this at Zolder, in fact pitted even earlier than this, but he does maybe nursing a little bit of damage after that incident, but in he comes then, and let's see if this will play out well. We know Travis Schwenke has a lot of pace, and he's one of the hardest workers in practice. You see him putting in so many laps before the races, and he can run consistent pace, so watch for Schwenke when we get to the end of the race in just under a 45-minute time.
Yeah, Schwenke, early pit stop. First GTE to head into the pits for a pit stop. But I say the pit stops are going to start rolling in here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca for the Ricmotech GT Challenge here on Apex Racing TV. We'll be right back after this ad break.
Welcome back to the Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment GT Challenge Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics. Peter Mackay and Austin Knight talking you through this one. We hope you're enjoying the action so far. And well, Austin, it has been absolutely hectic in both classes. Lots of action, lots of carnage in certain places, and a number of drivers feeling the wrath of the stewards.
Yeah, it's been a lot of action on track and off track, especially in the steward's office, and I think somebody just threw a water cup out a window and just yelled, "Come on, man."
It might not be water in there. It could be something stronger for the stewards. They're being kept very busy indeed today. Your leader in GTE, not your championship leader, Dennis Savretic. It's been Mike Dam who has been the standout performer of the day. Now enjoying a 15-second advantage from Dennis Savretic, who was caught up in a small incident with a back marker which cost him about 5 seconds, but Mike Dam has very much had the edge on pace, knocking out laps in the 1:20 bracket for most of the race. Very impressive indeed from the Canadian in the number 93 in his first race for Orion Racing. Elvis Rankin, he's leading in GT3 right now with a 9-second advantage from Cameron Martineau, with Tony Kernan currently running in third. So here at Laguna Seca in this particular race, we have quite a wide pit window. The drivers can come in anytime now they want to fill up, and they will be able to get to the end of the race. But I think there's going to be a few drivers that are going to run it right to the very last moment to try and get that low fuel running to put in those quick laps. But Elvis Rankin right now doing what Elvis Rankin does, leading strongly, but with a considerable margin in front.
Yeah, Elvis Rankin is one of those guys who will go all the way to the end. When you're leading, you just want to close off any opportunities the guys have behind you. But when you're leading by this much, you just know that everything you do is going to pay off well. 16 seconds, going to be behind you. He's going to, I swear, Elvis is going to go into the pits and try to come out still in first.
Well, that's a possibility. As you mentioned earlier on, Austin, the pit lane here is very, very long. A long entry, a slow entry, and a very slow exit indeed, as we see Dennis Savretic making his way past Elvis Rankin, the GT3 leader. So it just shows you how fast Elvis Rankin's going. That's taken 40 minutes for him to fall off the overall lead lap. An amazing drive from the #1 Ferrari. You see him there flashing the lights, trying to alert the flying tortoise Ferrari of Russ Ruddock that he's coming through, and they get through cleanly. Good job from all concerned there. So for the GT3 runners, the maximum they can go is 39 laps. So expect all of the GT3 runners to have completed their pit stops in the next 15 minutes or so. Great drive as well from Jen McDonald in the 99 BMW. Of course, Jen drives a BMW in the real world, takes it to NASA track days, and no, she is not an astronaut. What would you say? It's a governing body or a championship? What would you say NASA is, Austin?
Car club.
Car club. Yeah, thank you for that one. I needed to go to your local knowledge there. But yeah, Jen goes and does some track days with NASA and her BMW, and well, driving her virtual BMW very strongly indeed right now, holding a strong podium position.
Speaking of another BMW, as we left to go to that ad break, Travis Schwenke went into the pits. I can confirm he is not coming out of those pits. He's stayed in those pits for well beyond what a pit stop should be. And Travis Schwenke isn't returning back to the track, and he's dropped all the way down to the last active car driving. I'm not sure on why he went to the pits and why he stopped, but it might have to do with also why Kevin Ford stopped.
Yeah, it's a very, very strange one. Could be a technical issue of some description, whether that be internet or software or what have you. So interesting stuff from both those drivers. Travis Schwenke, it's a big context for the championship, because Travis Schwenke currently second in the championship on 96 points. Mike Dam, our race leader, our runaway race leader, he's in third in the championship coming into this one on 90 points. So there's going to be a bit of a shuffle, I think, by the end of this race. And don't forget Dennis Savretic, who's currently in second place. He's on 116 points after a very strong start to the season. So bit of a shake-up here in the Ricmotech GT Challenge, and also is in GT3 as well, as we see a bit of a battle between a couple of the Ferraris. Elvis Rankin, he's the championship leader, but Caleb John Lavender coming into this race in second place in the championship on 100 points. He's not in the top positions right now, and neither is Duino on 88 points as well. So a real shake-up here at Laguna Seca, Austin.
Yeah, those two drivers not even in this race.
That's one way of scoring 0 points anyway. Not turning up. So it's all happening here in Ricmotech GT Challenge. Our next race for the series is in a few weeks' time, on the 28th of September at Mid-Ohio, one of my hidden gem favourites, a circuit that's not well known over here in Europe, but I think one of the finest circuits that the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship goes to. Of course, a very popular visit on the IndyCar schedule as well. But the next race for the Ricmotech series will be on the 15th of September. We have the Classic Sprint Series is next up, and we look forward to that. It should be an awful lot of fun. 33 laps down here at Laguna Seca, 43 minutes, so just coming up with half an hour to go in this race, and we are getting right into the pit window now. It shouldn't be long before we see our GT3 runners coming in to take their pit stop.
Yep, coming up with just half an hour left. It's going to get very tight as strategy is going to be winding down, but the GTE race is nearly punched its ticket into being donezo right there. Mike Dam's putting on an absolute clinic. 17-second lead. In an 1 hour, 15-minute race, to pull off that type of gap is ludicrous.
Certainly is, especially when you consider he's doing it with Dennis Savretic in second, and Dennis is, well, he's the reigning Ricmotech GT Challenge GT3 class champion, and came into the GTE class. He won at Spa, he won at Zolder, and he won at Le Mans, 3 very different circuits indeed. And here at Laguna Seca, still running strongly in second place, but Mike Dam very much being the star of the show. But interestingly, we have seen a little bit of a balance of performance adjustment for this race. So the BMW and the Ferrari being given a 5-kilogram ballast in the GTE class to try and slow them down a little bit. Now, 5 kilograms will have an effect on performance, but that alone is not going to make the difference of 17 seconds at this stage, I wouldn't suggest.
Yeah, and look at the other Porsches from Wajin and Orion. They're still sitting at 5th and 6th. The only Porsche that's doing good right now is Mike Dam, and he is leading by 60 seconds. You'd be like, oh, they didn't get a BOP. They're too fast. That Porsche is so good around this track. Dennis Savretic has damage. That's why he's already that far ahead. At the start of this race, Steve Daniel takes a big old drift, kept it on the track, well, nicely saved right there, I must say. But Dennis Savretic was 10 seconds already down to Mike Dam when he got that damage. That's how quick Mike Dam is going.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. I think the balance of performance clearly, I think, right on, actually. The series organisers have done a grand job. Of course, we've got a Porsche, 2 BMWs, a Ford, and then a Ferrari. So, pretty good mix of manufacturers up at the front. And Mike Dam, well, it's the man behind the wheel making the difference here. A brilliant drive from the Canadian. We saw, of course, Mike qualifying for the prestigious Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge Canada in his native country, and they are only the 30 fastest sim racers in Canada had to qualify for that event, and he ran very, very strongly indeed in that series against a glittering field of talent, and he's showing that talent here in the Ricmotech GT Challenge at Laguna Seca. Now, Laguna Seca, of course, is a circuit that I mean, I think everybody has a soft spot for, but going quick around here, not always a guarantee, Austin.
Yeah, Laguna Seca, it's a very flowy track, and then to get good here and get fast, kind of have to disrupt that flow just a little bit, because sometimes the smoothest line isn't the fastest, and Laguna Seca, you kind of have to manhandle the car around here, as Elvis Rankin will show you how to take this entire track fastly. And you can just see that wheel moving a lot. And I would say an on-board lap with Elvis Rankin would be an absolute wonder to watch.
Certainly would. We can see all the expensive parts inside that Ferrari. There we go. Look at that. So, there we go around the final corner. Perfect clip of the apex. And, oh, like you say, Austin, very small steering inputs, nice smooth throttle input. You know, you always talk about the young hard charger aggressive, but he's driving just super, super smooth. Sees one of the GTE cars come through there, that's Jen McDonald in the BMW, and barely loses any time. Back on the power, gently, small steering inputs, brilliant. Just a textbook, like you said, a clinic here from Elvis Rankin.
Yeah, he just caught a slide through the Andretti hairpin. I don't think you noticed that, but his rear tires were not in line with the front ones right there, and the car did slide on that exit.
You did, and see, that is why you're a racing driver and I'm not. I just talk about racing drivers. Yeah, that's, well, there's a good point of just how smooth he's going. Even just a little slide like that, he can just hang on to it, and yeah, really, this is a great clinic in how to go quick around here. Onto the curb, back a couple of gears, back to first gear, going into the corkscrew, and wow, to go through there in such a low gear and get hard on the gas, that shows really good throttle control as well there. Back one gear, going through to the end of the lap, and oh, I could watch this onboard camera all day, to be honest, Austin. This is really impressive race driving.
It is a great lap, but I want to point out one thing. Going first gear through the corkscrew, it is incredibly dangerous, but it's not as dangerous as doing it in a single-seater car, because the sports cars have a bit less horsepower, and the gearing is not as aggressive as our single-seaters.
So we're looking at Janja Wanja here in the 34. Oh, and just gets locked up on the brakes there, going into the corkscrew and reverses. Oh, be careful, Janja. Don't do that. Reverse straight back onto the race line. That's not what we want to see. But yeah, just going there into that braking zone, going into the corkscrew, really, really difficult. Remember, the GTE cars, which Janja is running, do not have anti-lock brakes. They do have traction control, and switchable traction control at that, which is very helpful. But what's not helpful is not having anti-lock brakes, and just modulating that brake pedal going into the corkscrew is very, very tricky. And I'm sure that's one of the things that Mike Dam is mastering better than his competitors, because if you get it wrong, you can get yourself into a whole load of trouble there as well. Whereas the cars with anti-lock brakes, it'll kind of help you and try to keep you safe going into that particular braking zone.
Yeah, the anti-lock brakes will, well, they definitely help newer drivers into a sports car series, and that makes GT3 a perfect opportunity to learn high-level sports car races. But really, the best learning tool is the GT4 series, where it has all that stuff on there and a little bit of stability control, and you just slowly start switching those off, and you feel like you want some higher speeds, head up into GT3s, and then you're feeling like a little bit more daring, head up into GTE, as Janja GTE heading into the pits, as well as race leader Mike Dam.
So Mike Dam coming in on lap 38 of this race, about 25 minutes to go. He'll come in and get a little splash of fuel and then get back out there. It's been interesting to see if Denis Savretic in second place in his BMW, if he mirrors Mike Dam. It looks like he is. The timing screen isn't moving much, so I suppose that will be Denis Savretic coming in. No, he's not at the track map. No, he's not. He's gone through. So Mike Dam loads up with fuel. Denis Savretic goes through to take the lead of the race. Now remember, Denis Savretic, he's got that little bit of damage. You almost forget he did have that little bit of damage, and he'll be able to get a little bit of that repaired while he's fueling up.
Yeah, that damage is definitely going to be repaired. And Jen McDonald, she's gone into the pits as well. So Savretic looking for that undercut, that overcut, but I think Jen might surprise us with an undercut right here, because Denis has traffic in front of him.
Yeah, we'll need to see how that goes, and of course one more lap with the damage is going to be that little bit slower than with that damage repaired. So here he comes up towards the corkscrew then. Will Denis Savretic decide to mirror his competitors for the podium, Mike Dam and Jennifer McDonald? Down they go then through the wonderful corkscrew. You just feel like you're dropping off a cliff there, heading through the Rainey curve, named after wonderful Wayne Rainey, multiple motorcycle Grand Prix champion. And there you go. There's Denis Savretic. So this is interesting. So not too much difference in strategy between all of our podium runners.
Jennifer McDonald ran a 55-second total pit lap time. Mike Dam 57 seconds. So he spent a little bit more longer time in the pit lane, and he's just coming out of the final corner right now, down the straight, and he's going to take back his first place. But this is really the Savretic McDonald story, is really the battle for second place. And Jennifer, she's just coming out of the corkscrew right now, and Savretic still in the pit lane, just came out of the box right now.
This is going to be interesting to watch then. Will Jen McDonald be able to get onto the back of Denis Savretic? Probably not.
Miles,
a little bit, yeah, miles behind. Yeah, there you go. So that's interesting stuff then. We've got our GTE runners quite spread out now after those pit cycles, so not too much change. But although the pit cycle and the pit strategy hasn't made an effect, I think coming into these final 20 minutes or so, this is where we could see a reshuffle, because there's always the danger of lap traffic. And of course, having sat, don't forget that these drivers will have been in practice before the race. They've been behind the wheel for quite a long time, and that's when the mental fatigue starts to kick in, Austin, and I think, and mistakes start to happen, like so. Oh, and Kevin Ford's got back going, so whatever was going wrong, he's got back going again. Now,
did you just like queue up some oil slick on the exit of that curve or something? That was extremely well timed. And oh, that's a risky turnaround point right there, because you get to see Elvis Rega is coming back onto the track right there, and that was 6th place as well.
Well, no, Steve Daniels and I, we have a bit of an arrangement. I give him $5, and he does what I say on the broadcast. He then does something to make me look good.
Is that legal?
Probably.
All right, well, all you legal eagles in chat or that wonderful YouTube channel, you can go decide for yourself, and I'll let Kevin have a start talking to you after this.
So. It's the same $5 that Kevin get. Oh, my damn spun! No! Oh dear! Now he's no damage. He's got back going again. What? I tell you what, I can tell you, I did not give Mike Dam $5. There's the mental fatigue right there, but he still has a strong gap, and this is where he's got to calm down now. He's got traffic to worry about here. So he just has to calm down a little bit, does Mike Dam. Get back into his groove, get back into that track that he was on earlier in the race, but that's going to grab his attention for sure.
That is definitely shaking him. If you look at the timing screen, 18 seconds was the time between him and Saturday. It's now dropped down to 14, and Saturday's just looking at that. If he has that relative up there right now, he's going to be like, hello, what's happened here?
Yeah, that's going to give Dennis Reddick a little bit of an egg on, but only 20 minutes left, 14 seconds, that's a big gap. So Mike Dam, he's got the pace in hand, he's just got to take it easy now. It's also the one thing as well that we must consider is the tyres. You know, the tyres, they are pretty durable, but in those last parts of the race, particularly here at Laguna, it's a low grip surface. When you would think a low grip surface, oh, that'll be kind on the tyres. Actually, it's the opposite way around. So that low grip surface will really work the tyre hard. You're left, right all the time. And yeah, that's going to cause a problem. So that tyre grip's just going to fade off now in the last few moments of the race. And also the driver concentration is bound to fade a little as well. So this is the most dangerous part now for Mike Dam, and the biggest opportunity for Dennis Abrete.
Oh my damn it, this is such a tricky situation right here. Traffic on the inside and outside. Yeah, it was forced going on the outside through 3 different corners all alone. Coming into the slowest part of the track. That time to Sauertech, it is rising again, but Sauertech is going to be closing in because, well, actually, no, Sauertech is within the similar situation as Mike Dam is right now.
Yeah, the traffic should be pretty constant. If you look at our SDK track map on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see that pretty much the field's spread around pretty evenly. So kind of wherever you are on circuit, you're going to come across some sort of traffic, whether you're the faster car coming through or whether you're the slower car watching for those faster cars coming through. It affects both of those drivers. So our GT3 runners have now all had their pit stops as well, and from what I see, the GTE runners have had their pit stops also. So now it's just a charge to the flag. And well, speaking of charging, this has been an absolutely flawless performance once again from young Elvis Rankin.
Yeah, no flaws here, but as we saw Mike Dam, a little spin come out of nowhere. So we definitely need to see if he can stay that consistency for 15 minutes. But he got a 27-second gap behind you. You can let off the throttle just a little bit.
Absolutely, and that's having that cushion is so helpful as well for those drivers. You know, if You think, I've got that big gap in the bag. When you're coming up to one of those 50-50 moments in traffic going, do I risk it, do I not? You don't have to. You don't have to take that risk. You can be so much more patient, whereas the other drivers, they have to be the ones taking the risk. So all that fast pace early in the race, this is where they can use it to their benefit indeed. I tell you what, it's been a good drive as well from Jordy Fike in the Soul Ford GT in the field. That wonderful 3.5 litre twin turbo V6, ironically named EcoBoost engine, an EcoBoost engine that does 4.5 miles per gallon, but a wonderful machine. Makes a very distinct noise, a kind of low, kind of parpy noise, but a wonderful car to drive. Great off-corner traction, and Jordy doing a great job at the wheel of that 09 Ford right now.
Hey, not all engines live up to the name, just like the Jetta clean diesel engine.
Yes, that's I love that on the VIR track scan, how the clean diesel, good clean fun Jetta TDI advert is still there, which is great indeed. Anyway, Jeff Jacobs, who was given a drive-through penalty earlier on in the race for contact with Travis Schwenke, he's trying to make his way through right now. He's currently sitting in 10th spot. He's battling with the number 80 machine of Derek Holland. And this is really, really tight now. And look who's behind there. This is not what Dennis Everett wants to see. Two Mercedes.
Oh, that's what he wants to see, though.
And Holland goes, but he does. That makes it very easy. And look at the distance he's giving. He's right on the pit wall, going, I will just stay over here. Thank you very much. Down he goes then, down into the Andretti hairpin. Got through that Mercedes battle cleanly. And Jacobs up to 9th place.
Yeah, Dennis Haratek must have 4-leaf clover or something to that car, because that couldn't have gone better for him.
Yeah, quite possibly for the number 79 machine. The championship leader, he still will be if he maintains this position, but Mike Dam will close that gap and move up into second place in the championship past Travis Schwenke. Also Jen McDonald in looking for her first podium of the season in the Ricmotech paddock. A brilliant drive so far from her. And she's kind of in a bit of a no ladies land here, because she has 15 seconds up to Dennis Savretic and 18 seconds back to Fike in the Ford. So again, another one where she just has to coast at home and try and keep it clean for these last 15 minutes.
Yeah, Jennifer, absolutely wonderful race. Be amazing to see her on top of the podium.
And on lap 46, speaking of 46, of course the 46, the number of Valentino Rossi, the 9-time MotoGP World Champion, who pulled off one of, if not the most impressive overtaking manoeuvre I've ever seen at the corkscrew here back in 2008, overtaking Casey Stoner, the Australian, on the Ducati. So we've gone past the 1 hour mark, just 13 minutes to go here at Laguna Seca, WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Of course, WeatherTech, American-based company for all your floor mat and car accessory needs. And I believe they now have their own Super Bowl advert, Austin, is that right?
I'm not sure of the Super Bowl advert, but I can tell you I do have a couple of WeatherTech floor mats in my Toyota Camry. And very nice. Very nice.
Unfortunately, we don't get WeatherTech products here in Scotland, but I tell you what, they would sell, because as you can imagine, the weather is really awful here in Scotland, so some good waterproof mats would be very handy indeed. Tell you what else has been handy is Mike Dam's pace. Despite that one little moment at the Andretti hairpin, just a sort of half spin that he managed to hang on to and avoid any further problems. This has been a great drive from the man in the number 93 Porsche. Looking at Kevin Hawkinson in the Nerdworks Racing Audi, that big old beautiful 5.2 litre V10 engine. And you know it's a good motor when it's the motor of choice for the Audi sister brand Lamborghini. A wonderful machine, normally aspirated, big noise, big power, just what we like to see.
Big noise, big power, And speaking of noise, iRacing is going to be a little bit noisier within 2 weeks in this new update they got going. A entirely new sound package is coming to iRacing with ambient noises that reflect actual stuff. And my big smile on my face, pit lane ambient noises. So you're going to be hearing a few tire guns going off.
Oh, this is so anyone who's ever seen the Disney Pixar's movie Cars with Guido, the pit stop guy, that's you're going to hear that something like that.
Yeah, it's more of a and then it's going to be the random testing you hear. So when you're just in Texas, you're going to hear.
So the commentary comes free, but the sound effects are extra here in the Ricmotech GT Challenge Series. So still Elvis Rankin pulling out a 47-second lead. What must that be like, Austin, to be that good? To be leading a race by 47 seconds. So are you driving along going, you are good, you are really good. I don't know how you're so much faster than the rest, but you are good.
The way that it must feel like is the kids are all playing outside, the dog is curled up by the fire, and you're reading a nice book, and you're just about, and everything is all perfect, and you're just about to get dressed for supper.
Yep, it would be a nice feeling. I'd love to know how it feels like. Well, hopefully after the race, we'll get the chance to ask Elvis how his race has gone. Pretty perfectly, I would wager. Also gone very well here for Jim McDonald. Oh, now Kevin, what is Kevin doing? He's turned his Ferrari into a rallycross spec. What is he doing up there? Something not right at all for the number 32. I wonder if
he's been having a rough day.
He is having a very rough day. There's obviously something going wrong because we hardly ever see Kevin making mistakes, and he was very strange indeed. There's obviously something going on there. We'll try and get Kevin in for a chat post-race to try and find out, because he's not liking
this
at
battle
all.
for third, though. Hello.
Absolutely.
10 minutes remaining. Kernon, Thornman. Oh, Ferrari v Ferrari. Inject this into my veins, because it's going to get wild here.
Absolutely. This is don't worry, folks. You've not don't adjust your set. You're not watching a Ferrari Challenge race. You are watching a GT3 race. But this 488 GT3 very popular here for our drivers. And Chris Thorman putting on some big pressure on Tony Kernan. And I have to say, Austin, we just like saying that name quickly because obviously it sounds so similar to the 2013 Indy 500 champion Tony Kernan. If you say it quick enough, they sound just the same.
Yeah, speaking of Tony Kernan, he just had his very last IndyCar race at Gateway. What a wonderful career he's had, and very nice guy. I met him at Circuit of the Americas a few times, and oh, he is so nice. A wonderful guy to talk to.
And of course, his wife, a very successful sim racer, won the other half. Said, "Oh wow! Oh dearie me." That was nearly a big lunge there, but yeah, Tony Kernan's wife winning the other half's invitational, which we broadcast here on Apex Racing TV, which is pretty cool. And yeah, this Ferrari battle for the last. Remember, this is the last spot on the podium. This is for big bragging rights, and this is not only that, Austin, is this for the privilege to come and speak to us in the commentary box afterwards.
Yep. A lot of people are fighting for the opportunity to talk to a Texan.
No greater privilege than that. So 7 minutes to go here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, and these guys are playing for keeps in the Ferraris. Round they go then. Hard to tell who's gonna take this one, and I suspect that the cork is just about to pop out the bottle here, Austin. It's very, very close between Tony Kernan and Thorman, and well, I suspect
it's all about the run up.
Yeah, it's going to be a run up to the corkscrew, and it is somebody going to be brave enough to make that move. And
here comes Thorman.
Here we go.
He's got the cork ready. He is aiming for the corkscrew. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Pop the champagne. Thorman down onto the inside and up into third.
You were waiting for that one, weren't you? The cork was in your
Oh.
bottle, and it is well and truly gone out there, Austin. Haha! So, Tony Kernan drops back to 4th place. That was a really clean move. Very well set up there from Chris Thorman. Very impressive indeed. But Tony Kernan won't be taking it lying down. We've still got 6 minutes to go in this motor race, and he's not going to give up that podium position easily.
Hey, well, this 2-car fight has turned into a 3-car fight because that Ferrari just behind him is Bobby Childs. This is looking like a Ferrari challenge now.
It really does. Bobby Childs, he's in the 88 machine in the D2D eSports car. D2D. I wonder what D2D stands for. Door to door, possibly?
Driven to drive.
Driven to drive, there you go. Door to door, they could be a delivery company, or we'll do express deliveries in our 488 GT3. You wouldn't fit many Amazon parcels in one of those though.
No, you don't, but I think they are very good with pizza delivery, so, you know, Pizza Hut has that Shakaroni, no, Papa John's has that Shakaroni pizza. Domino's could do a D2D Ferrari promotion.
That would be a good promotion, of course, and it's an Italian car as well, even better, even more fitting. But back at the front, well, Mike Dam, the Canadian, what, and we get him a job as a pizza delivery driver because he is fast here at Laguna Seca. Number 93, Mike Dam for Orion Racing. What a way to join this team. This is his first race with the team and doing a fantastic job. Opened up a 21-second advantage from Dennis Savretic. Now, those are the sort of advantages we've seen Dennis Savretic inflict on others, but it's flipped on its head here at Laguna Seca, and Mike Dam has just been flawless. Jen McDonald still maintaining her gap from Fike in 4th and Dennis Savretic in 2nd. So GTE well spaced out, but that battle for the podium in GT3 emerging very nicely indeed.
Yeah, Elvis Rankin almost has it. Oh my damn! Lock up going to the very final corner with 5 minutes to go. Oh, he's lost a lot of time right there. But, you know, looking at 21 seconds, this is just me getting excited over nothing. He went off track. Woo. He had 20 seconds to spend. He could park the car, run around, get back into it, and continue driving and still be in first. But
well,
that might be the tires going out still. Not to force any drama, but just look at that lockup.
Yeah, just that pinches that inside front left wheel. That's very common at the last corner at Laguna Seca, where you just get a good exit out the penultimate corner, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh dear, I've got a brake, and you can just pinch going in there. But not too much harm, but that's Mike Dam that will have raised his heart rate for sure. That's two sort of small moments that he's had that we've caught on camera. There might have been more possibly, but that's not what he wants to see. And he's still, as you said, Austin, it's still got a very comfortable margin. But if one of those little moments turns into a contact with the wall, this could flip on its head, and Dennis Savretic's going to be right there to pick up the scraps. So it's going to be a nervy few minutes now for Mike Dam to get his first win of the season.
Yeah, Mike Dam, the heart is definitely bumping in his chest. 16 seconds now between him and Dennis behind him, but this real battle on track is for 3rd in the GT3s.
Yeah, let's have a look at that then. Yep, Tony Kernan still putting on the pressure. He's not going to give up that podium position. He wants to get it back from Chris Thorman, but he's going to be made to work hard for it. But like you said, I think just before Mike Dam went off, you were going to say this, Austin. I mean, Elvis Rankin has got a gap of nearly a minute. That's extraordinary. He's not far off lapping the entire field in his class, which, well, I'm running out of superlatives for the young man. He's only 13 years old, of course, does race in the real world, and he's a name, we've said it before, he's a name to watch out for in sim racing and in real world racing.
Young gun, young buck, Skippy the Bush Kangaroo. Actually, no, that doesn't work. Yes.
Fast young man, I would say, in gentlemen's clubs here in the United Kingdom, saying that young man is jolly talented. So, Tony Kernan, this is not what he wanted, a pesky Porsche GTE car getting in and that could be it then. This could just be give that little bit of gap to Thorman. I think it has. And oh, a Ford up the back won't help either. Oh, it's Ford versus Ferrari, sort of. And this is, look at the gap now. So there you go. There's a graphic example of how traffic can hurt drivers in both classes. And look at that. That has allowed Thorman to get a much comfier gap from Tony Kanaan, and that could just secure that last podium spot.
But
in GT3.
that traffic has to get past Thorman now.
Correct.
How is Thorman going to deal with this traffic to Tony? Did Tony manage that traffic even better? Because they're coming up to the corkscrew, and they're keeping their time for it. So I expect Thorman to have a little bit worse deal, because Tony is going to be using these guys as a pick to try to stay on the back of George Feike right here, because that GT3 in front of him is in prime territory to get overtaken. But it looks like they're just shaping up for the straight, and Thorman must be just like going, why now, DG? You could have gone then. Come on. Hold up the guy in front of me. I'm not losing 2 seconds to him because y'all just wanted to, oh, I'm going to be nice for once. But unfortunately, that's the unfortunate business of sports car racing where that happens. And there is a massive gap right there, and Thorman must be just grinning ear to ear right now.
Yeah, that worked out very well for Chris Thorman. He just had those faster cars, able to get past them on the straight, didn't lose any time at all. So Tony Kanaan's got it all to do again. Speaking of, Mike Dam is taking the white flag, and he is, this is the last lap then for Mike Dam, number 93 in the Porsche 911 RSR, and this has been a textbook drive, 2 very small mistakes, but he's right there, and look at this, he's right behind.
You want a photo op?
There you go. This is, and I tell you what, both driving for the Orion team, so Orion Racing has been a perfect day for them. And Mike Dam, you probably want to get past Elvis Rankin here, and so that Elvis won't have to do one more lap.
I kind of want to see them do a Ford vs Ferrari photo op right here. Elvis Rankin, Orion Esports, all these guys, Orion Racing, they are going to go for a photo op. I think. So. Oh my goodness.
It would appear so as they head down Rainy Curve for the final time then. Let's hope they've got this coordinated and rehearsed. Elvis Rankin backs off. They'll be speaking to each other on the team speak. Round the final corner they go. So,
oh, this is just
it
beautiful.
Is Mike Dam. Mike Dam takes your win in GTE, and Elvis Rankin takes the win in GT3 here in the Ricmotech GT Challenge Series. Brilliant performance from both of those men for Orion Racing, but you've got to take a big hat off to Mike Dam. His first win of the season, dominating ahead of championship leader Dennis Savreddick. What a drive from both men, Austin.
I'm going to be honest, it's definitely not going to be the first time we're seeing these two finishing line at the same time.
Yeah, that was very special. I'm sure that will be going on the company Christmas postcard for Orion Racing. We're going to take an ever so brief break here in the Ricmotech GT Challenge Series for a very brief commercial break. We will be right back with all the race results and post-race interviews. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back to the Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment GT Challenge Series, where we've just seen the perfect day in the Californian sun for Orion Racing. Elvis Rankin triumphing by nearly a minute in the GT3 category, and Mike Dam getting his first win of the season in the number 93 Porsche 911 RSR. Brilliant drive from both men, but let's have a look at the overall race results to see where all your favourite drivers finish. So Mike Dam taking the win by 14.6 seconds from championship leader Denis Savretic. With my apologies, I've just lost it. There we go. Jen McDonald gets on the podium, her first podium of the season for streetsurvival.org, 42 seconds back on in third place. George Fike in the Ford was fourth. In fifth position I've lost the timing screen again. I do apologise, viewers. Not quite sure what's happening here, but we will get the official race results to you very soon. There we go. Janja Wanja in fifth position. Orion Collins sixth. Elvis Rankin seventh overall and winner in his class. Cameron Martineau was eighth. Chris Foreman ninth overall, third in class. Tony Kernan 10th overall. Bobby Childs, Luis Dolio, David Payton, Rafael Souza, Kevin Hawkinson, Jeff Jacobs, Steve Daniels, and Derek Holland rounding out the top 18 runners. Just a few laps down. And that's how they finished in the Ricmotech GT Challenge Round 4 here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Now we should have a number of drivers to speak to hear from, and we do. And we have our race winner, Mike Dam, is with my esteemed colleague, Austin Knight.
Well, howdy, 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 Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, guys.
Well, it's your first win in the GT Challenge Series, and you did it very spectacularly and very comfortably, I must say. 14 seconds gap. That gap grew to about 25 seconds at times. A few hairy moments at the end, but overall, how was that race?
Yeah, it was a good race. I felt good going into it. I made sure to put my practice in. I felt like I had a really good qualifying setup as well as a race setup, so I was just kind of ready for whatever. I really like this track. I'm usually pretty good at it. I just kind of have a knack for it, I guess. So, yeah, just was able to pull a little bit of a gap at the start with a just straight pace, and it would just be consistent, I guess.
Well, consistency was key. You did go off a few times. Were those small mistakes haunting your mind a little bit, or were you just shaking them off and just continuing on?
Yeah, I think I had a big enough lead at the time when I spun into turn one there, right after the pit stop. I think I don't know, the car just, I didn't take into account the weight shift in the car with the extra fuel. And the rear end just came around. But yeah, I just kind of shook it off and tried to just keep focusing. I knew I still had a sizable lead, so I just wanted to just get back into it.
All right. Well, it's a great win for you. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, just all the guys in this league. The admins for putting it on. It's a great time. I'd like to thank Team Orion, which they recently invited me to join, so that's pretty awesome. Just you guys for broadcasting, put on a good show. So thank you.
And thank you for putting on a great show for us to put on a great show for y'all. Anyway, thank you, and you have yourself a good night. And we're standing by with Peter is standing by with your teammate.
Elvis Rankin, congratulations on a dominant victory here at Laguna Seca. I hope you're not getting tired of speaking to me, because you're up here every week with all these great results.
Yeah, definitely not. I was really happy with tonight's result. I felt like the pace was really good. You know, it's very tough, especially at Laguna Seca with the the kink and the corkscrew to hold consistently for 75 minutes, but it was definitely a good race, and then the cherry on top for the side-by-side finish at the end.
Absolutely, a very Ford versus Ferrari Le Mans '66 finish there as well. Were you and Mike communicating on the radio together?
I kind of just threw it out there when he was maybe about 30 seconds behind me. I was like, "Hey, Mike, if you catch me, we should do a side-by-side finish." And then I was like, "He's probably not going to catch me." And then I saw him on my relative, and I was like, "Oh, this could happen." And then he blew it off in the final corner one time, and it was kind of like well, it's not going to happen. And then he, I was just taking it easy. I wasn't doing anything super extra. I wasn't pushing. I wasn't going super slowly. But then he caught right up, coming to the white, and it all worked out. So we decided it was good enough to do it.
Absolutely. Well, we know what's going on the Orion Racing Christmas card. Picture of you guys coming over the coming over the line. It's and of course here at Laguna Seca, such a tricky track layout, very narrow. We do talk about the traffic between the two classes quite a bit here in the Ricmotech series in the GT Challenge. But how did you find it today? I know you like to take a conservative approach usually. Was that the same today at Laguna?
For sure. There was not as many cars that lapped us that I thought there was going to be. You know, we only had to deal with maybe 5 cars lapping us the whole time. But I was really more focused tonight on is the pace was very clear because the top 3 cars had a 1.5 second gap consistently on the main pack. So I was more kind of focused on lapping and being conservative in lapping those cars and making good passes and not losing so much time, but at the same time, not wrecking my race completely.
Well, it was certainly a flawless drive, Elvis. Very good indeed, and solidifies your position at the top of the championship. Now, I know you have a lot of people supporting you and helping you out in the real world racing and the sim racing. Now's the chance to give them another shout out on Apex Racing TV.
Yeah, for sure. This race was definitely challenging for me, and there was something from my actual rig that was acting up, and it's probably the last time I'm going to ever race in an extreme race. I've ran a Fanatic 2.5 wheelbase for about 6 years, or as long as I've been on sim racing, and actually not 6 years. Never mind, not 6. What was I thinking? But ever since I've been on sim racing, and it's lasted for so long, and I can't thank Fanatic enough. You know, they've really, really made an amazing product, and for it to last 6 years, one or two hiccups, it's definitely amazing. But gonna definitely retire it in style tonight for sure. Orion Race Team for believing in me. My teammates Mike Dam, Travis Schwenke, and Robert Hartley, who didn't get to show up tonight, which is unfortunate. My manager Frosty St. Clair, couldn't do the Orion Race Team without him. My mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, they believe in me every single day, whether it's on sim or in the real world, and I couldn't do it without them. All the sponsors that keep us on the real track, and then our sim sponsors, HPP, Pedals, and Joel Real Timing. We couldn't do it without them helping us on the real track and on sim. Yeah, that's really it. And you guys at Apex Racing TV, Extreme 99, Kevin Ford, Jeff Jacobs, Russ Ruddock, Bobby Childs, everybody who puts this whole thing on and makes this all possible. We couldn't do it without them.
Well, thank you very much for the kind words, Elvis. Much appreciated. Go and enjoy that win, and we'll see you next time out here in the Ricmotech paddock. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, thank you.
So finally, we have our second place finisher, Dennis Savretic, who is with Austin Knight.
Dennis,
Hello.
how's that race?
That was awesome. I'm so proud of myself that I can't explain it. I needed to tell on broadcast how proud I am.
Well,
Was-
now is your time to explain on how proud you are. You had a absolutely fantastic race early on. You had damage, and we thought you were going to start falling back down the field, but actually you were still pulling away from Jennifer right behind you, and at times you were catching Mike Dam. So a very proud moment for you right there.
Yeah, I think Mike just drove. But anyway, this is basically first time on this track. Learning how hard. That's really proud for.
Well, Dennis, your mic is cutting inside and out, but from what I understand is Mike was driving a massive, great race, and
I will
for
repeat. Okay. Yeah, I was catching Mike, but I think he just this is first time on this track for me, so I'm proud for.
well, for a first time race on this track, getting onto the podium is a amazing accomplishment,
Yeah,
man, and that is something to be.
insane. That's why I'm here and so happy.
Well, it's all smiles for you right now. But before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Guys who I'm raced with, admins. Yeah, congrats to Mike for win. Yeah, you guys, you're doing the job. That's that.
All right. Well, thank you, Dennis. And we're going to bring it over to Peter, and he's going to give us our final thoughts.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
So that was Dennis Savredik, our championship leader. Another really solid finish from him in the BMW M8. That's about all that we have time for here in the Ricmotech GT Challenge. But coming up on your screen right now is all of the upcoming events in all the different Ricmotech series with Extreme Motorsports as well. For this particular series, the next time we are out is on the 28th of September at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. Another short track, another track where lap traffic is going to play a big, big part. And we'll be delighted to see you with all these events broadcast live on Apex Racing TV. A big thanks to my commentary pal, Austin Knight, and also a big thank you to Dennis Branch for bringing all these beautiful images and graphics as well. It makes a huge difference to our broadcast. We'll see you in a few weeks' time in the Ricmotech GT Challenge, but without further ado, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.